I'm rushing through Phoenix Sky Harbor, my heels clicking against polished floors like a frantic metronome. The conference in Chandler starts in 3 hours, and I still need to check into my hotel. My assistant's voice echoes in my head. Don't mess this up, Alexa. This client could change everything. The baggage carousel churns methodically, spitting out identical black suitcases like some industrial assembly line. I grab what looks like mine. Same brand, same size, same worn corner from too many business trips. The weight feels off, but I'm too distracted by my buzzing phone to notice. Murphy Events, this is Alexa. The caterer just canceled. My assistant's voice crackles through static. What do you mean canceled? Food poisoning outbreak. We need a replacement by tomorrow. I'm wheeling my suitcase toward the rental car counter when it happens. The damn thing pops open, spilling contents across the terminal floor. But these aren't my carefully organized event planning materials. Social work certificates scatter like fallen leaves. A worn copy of Community Organizing for Social Change slides toward my feet. Hand-knitted scarves in rainbow colors unfurl across the tiles. This definitely isn't my Louis Vuitton organizer set. This day just keeps getting better, I mutter, scrambling to collect the foreign belongings. A security guard approaches. Everything okay, miss? Wrong suitcase. Airport lottery, you know? He chuckles. Happens more than you'd think. Check the baggage tag. The name reads B. Clark with a Chandler address. Same destination. What are the odds? Back at my hotel room, I'm staring at this stranger's life spread across my bed. The clothes are simple but well made. Nothing designer, but everything chosen with purpose. A photo falls from a book's pages, a brunette woman with striking blue eyes. Surrounded by smiling children at what looks like a community center. She's beautiful in that natural way that doesn't need enhancement, the kind of woman who probably doesn't own a single piece of makeup but glows anyway. My phone rings with an unknown local number. Is this Alexa Murphy? The voice is warm, slightly breathless. I think I have your suitcase. And I have yours, I assume B. Clark? Brooke Clark, this is awkward. Her laugh sends an unexpected flutter through my chest. Well, Brooke Clark, it seems we're both stuck in Chandler. Want to meet somewhere and swap our lives back? There's a coffee shop on San Marcos called Desert Grounds. Know it? I'll find it. I'll be the one holding designer event, planning folders, and looking completely out of place. Desert Grounds buzzes with afternoon energy when I arrive. She's already there, easy to spot. Same striking brunette from the photo, but even more captivating in person. No makeup, hair pulled back carelessly, wearing my expensive blazer like it's borrowed armor. Brooke? She stands, extending her hand. You must be Alexa. Sorry about your clothes. I was running late for work and... Her touch lingers longer than necessary. Professional handshake, but there's something else underneath. No worries. Though I have to ask, social work? Community outreach coordinator. And you're the event planner with impeccable taste in luggage. We sit across from each other, 2 suitcases between us like evidence of fate's intervention. So what brings you to Chandler? She asks. Corporate conference. Potential client worth more than my mortgage. I realize how that sounds. What about you? I live here. Work with at-risk youth downtown. The contrast isn't lost on either of us. Her world of helping others. Mine of orchestrated perfection for corporate profits. Must be rewarding, I say, meaning it. Some days, others. She shrugs. Your business cards are beautiful, by the way. That embossed gold lettering. Your certificates are impressive. How long have you been doing this? 5 years. You? 8. Thunder rumbles outside. Arizona's winter storms always surprise Midwestern transplants like me. Damn, she says, glancing toward the windows. I walked here. Rain begins pelting the glass in sheets. The afternoon sky has turned charcoal gray. I can give you a ride, I offer. Actually, she hesitates. Would you mind if we waited it out? Unless you have somewhere important to be. The conference prep can wait. Something about Brooke Clark makes me want to slow down for once. I've got time. We order another round of coffee. The conversation flows easier than it should between strangers. She tells me about the community center, the kids who need advocates. The bureaucracy that makes her job harder than it needs to be. I find myself sharing stories about impossible clients and the satisfaction of creating perfect moments for others. You know, she says, stirring sugar into her mug, I never would have pegged you for someone who cares about creating meaningful experiences. What did you peg me for? Honestly, someone who charges too much for pretty parties. I laugh despite myself. That's not entirely wrong. Rain continues its assault on the windows. Neither of us seems eager to leave. The rain shows no mercy, turning the desert city into a temporary lake. I watch Brooke through my peripheral vision as she checks her phone for the third time in 10 minutes. Waiting for someone? I ask. Just work stuff. One of my kids missed his check-in today. Your kids? Not mine. I mean, the youth I work with. Marcus is 16, been in and out of foster homes since he was 8. Her fingers drum against the table. He's supposed to report daily, but he's 16 and rebellious? She smiles, the first genuine one I've seen from her. Something like that. The barista announces they're closing in 30 minutes. The rain hasn't let up. My rental's just outside, I offer again. Where do you live? Walking distance, normally. About 6 blocks south. In this weather, that's a 20-minute swim. She laughs, and I realize I've been trying to make her do that since we sat down. All right, but I owe you coffee next time. Next time. The phrase hangs between us with unspoken possibility. The dash to my car leaves us both soaked despite the short distance. Brooke slides into the passenger seat, pushing wet hair from her face. Her cheeks are flushed from the cold rain, and I catch myself staring. Turn left at the light, she directs. Her neighborhood surprises me. Not the gentrified Chandler I expected, but older homes with character. Mature trees line the streets, their branches heavy with rain. That's me, she points to a small bungalow with a covered porch. The blue one. I pull into her driveway. The house is modest but well-maintained, with flower boxes under the windows and a wind chime singing in the storm. Thank you, she says, but doesn't move to get out. For the ride, I mean. Thank you for the conversation. I don't get much of that in my line of work. What do you mean? People hire me to execute their vision, not share my thoughts. You actually listened when I talked about why I got into event planning. She turns in her seat to face me fully. The part about creating memories that last longer than the party? Most people think I'm being dramatic. I don't think you're dramatic. I think you're passionate about something others take for granted. Rain drums against the roof, creating an intimate cocoon around us. The space between us feels charged with something I haven't experienced in months. Can I ask you something? She says. Why did you really offer me the ride? I mean, you don't know me. The honest answer sits heavy in my chest, because when you smiled, something shifted inside me. Because your passion for helping others reminds me why I started my business. Because I haven't felt this interested in someone in longer than I care to admit. Because, I say carefully, you seem like someone worth knowing. She studies my face in the dim light from her porch. That's either very sweet or a really good pickup line. Which would you prefer? The truth. My heart pounds against my ribs. Both. She's quiet for a moment, rain filling the silence. Then she leans closer, and I catch the faint scent of her shampoo. Something clean and uncomplicated. Alexa? Yeah? I haven't done this in a while. Done what? Instead of answering, she closes the distance between us. Her lips are soft and taste like the coffee we shared. The kiss is tentative at first, testing. Then deeper as I respond. My hand finds the back of her neck, fingers threading through damp hair. When we break apart, she's breathing hard. I should go, she whispers, but doesn't move. Should you? My neighbors are probably watching. Do you care? She considers this. Not as much as I thought I would. Lightning flashes, illuminating her face. There's vulnerability there, mixed with something braver. I have an early meeting tomorrow, I say reluctantly, but I'd like to see you again. I'd like that too. She gathers her suitcase and steps into the rain. At her front door, she turns back. Alexa, that conference you mentioned, what's it for? Potential client. Big corporate retreat. Sounds important. It was. Until about an hour ago. She smiles, unlocking her door. Good luck tomorrow. I wait until she's safely inside before backing out of her driveway. The kiss lingers on my lips during the drive back to my hotel. My phone buzzes with conference reminders, but for the first time in years, work feels secondary to something else entirely. Back in my room, I stare at the business card she left in my coat pocket. Simple white cardstock with her name and the community center's address. No embossed gold, no fancy graphics, just honest information about honest work. I add her number to my contacts, then hesitate over what to name the entry. Brooke Clark seems too formal after tonight. I settle on just Brooke, accompanied by a small heart emoji I immediately delete, then add back, then delete again. Finally, I save it as Brooke, coffee and rain. The storm continues outside my hotel window, but inside, everything feels perfectly calm. The conference ends with a signed contract worth more than my last 3 projects combined. I should be celebrating, but instead I'm staring at my phone, debating whether texting Brooke makes me seem desperate or just interested. 3 days have passed since our rain-soaked kiss. 3 days of catching myself thinking about her laugh during client presentations. Finally, I type, "Would your community center be interested in hosting a charity gala?" Her response comes within minutes. "Are you asking professionally or personally?" "Both," I reply, echoing our conversation from the car. "Come by tomorrow at 2. I'll show you around." The Chandler Youth Community Center occupies a converted warehouse downtown. Paint peels from the exterior walls, but the parking lot bustles with activity. Teenagers shoot hoops on cracked asphalt while younger kids chase each other around playground equipment that's seen better days. Brooke meets me at the entrance, wearing jeans and a sweater that brings out her blue eyes. Her smile seems genuinely happy to see me. "Welcome to my world," she says. Inside, the space hums with purposeful chaos. Study groups cluster around mismatched tables. A art class works on murals covering one wall. The smell of fresh paint mingles with sounds of laughter and learning. "We serve about 200 kids weekly," Brooke explains as we walk. Ages 6 to 18. Most come from single-parent homes or the foster system. "What kind of programming do you offer?" "Everything. Tutoring, job training, art therapy, counseling. Basically whatever these kids need to succeed." A lanky teenager approaches us. "Miss Brooke, can you check my math homework?" "Marcus." She greets him warmly. "This is Alexa. She's an event planner." He looks me over skeptically. "Like, parties for rich people?" "Sometimes," I admit. "But I also organize fundraisers for organizations like this one." "Cool, I guess." After he leaves, Brooke touches my arm. He's the one who missed check-in the other day. Been living on his own since he aged out of his last foster home. At 16? 17 now. Happens more than you'd think. We continue the tour. The facility needs everything. Updated computers, new furniture, expanded kitchen facilities. But the energy here is infectious. These kids have hope because people like Brooke believe in them. "So, about this gala," I say as we reach her office. "I'm thinking spring fundraiser. High-end donors, silent auction, maybe some of the kids could showcase their talents." "You're serious about this?" "Dead serious. This place deserves better funding." Her office is cramped but organized. Photos of kids cover every surface. Graduation pictures, sports teams, art projects. A potted plant struggles toward the window's limited sunlight. "I can't pay your usual rates," she says carefully. "Who mentioned payment?" "Alexa, you run a business. I also believe in what you do here." She sits on the edge of her desk, studying me. "What's really going on? Yesterday you were just a corporate event planner passing through town." The honest answer lodges in my throat. "Because watching you with these kids made me remember why I started my business. Because your passion is infectious. Because I want reasons to spend time with you. Maybe I'm tired of pretty parties that don't matter. And maybe I'm tired of begging corporations for scraps while kids like Marcus sleep in abandoned buildings. Then let's fix both problems." She's quiet for a long moment. Outside her office, someone practices piano, chopsticks played with more enthusiasm than skill. "There's something you should know," she says finally. "What?" "I don't usually date clients, or business associates, or really anyone lately. Good thing I'm not officially either yet." She laughs, but there's nervousness underneath. This is new territory for me. The fundraising, or all of it. I move closer, drawn by her vulnerability. We can take this slow. What if slow isn't what I want? The question hangs between us, loaded with possibility. Her office suddenly feels too small, the air too thin. Brooke. Yeah? Are you sure? Instead of answering, she stands and closes the office door. The piano music continues outside, providing cover for what happens next. She moves toward me with purpose, eliminating the space between us. This kiss is different from the tentative one in my car. Deeper, hungrier. Her hands find my waist, pulling me closer. We stumble backward until I'm pressed against the wall, her body warm against mine. She tastes like peppermint tea and possibility. My fingers trace the line of her collarbone through her sweater. The door, I murmur against her lips. Has a lock, she whispers back. Her hands explore with growing confidence, discovering the curve of my waist, the sensitive spot behind my ear. When she presses her lips to my neck, a soft sound escapes my throat. Time becomes fluid in that small office. The rough texture of the wall against my back contrasts with the softness of her touch. Her breath is warm against my skin, as she traces patterns with her lips that leave me breathless. We move together in the cramped space, discovering each other with urgency tempered by tenderness. Later, as we straighten our clothes and attempt to look professional again, she finds my hand and intertwines our fingers. So, she says, slightly breathless, about that gala. Right, the gala. My mind feels fuzzy, focused more on the taste of her lips than event logistics. When were you thinking? 6 weeks? Gives us time to plan properly. Us. I squeeze her hand. If you want a partner in this. Which part? The fundraiser or both? She pulls me closer for another kiss, softer this time but no less affecting. I've never mixed business with pleasure before, she admits. Neither have I. Think we can handle it? Looking into her eyes, bright with hope and possibility, I know we're about to find out. 2 weeks into planning the gala, Brooke suggests we take a break. You need to see Sedona, she insists during one of our late-night planning sessions at my hotel. All work and no play makes Alexa a dull event planner. I'm not dull, I protest, though my laptop screen shows 16 hours of donor research today alone. Prove it. Road trip, this weekend. The drive north takes us through desert landscapes that shift from brown to brilliant red as we climb elevation. Brooke navigates while I drive, her hand occasionally finding my knee during comfortable silences. There, she points as we crest a hill. Cathedral Rock. The red sandstone formation rises like a natural cathedral against azure sky. I've seen photos, but reality steals my breath. It's incredible. Wait until you see it at sunset. We check into a bed and breakfast that feels like stepping into someone's favorite aunt's house. Cozy rooms, handmade quilts, and breakfast served on mismatched china. Brooke booked separate rooms, but we both know that's just for appearances. So what's the plan? I ask as we unpack. No plan. That's the point. I always have a plan. I know. That's why we're here. She pulls me toward the door. Come on, let's explore. We hike Bell Rock, a moderate trail that winds around the base of another stunning formation. Brooke sets the pace, leisurely, stopping to examine wildflowers and point out hawks circling overhead. You're different here, she observes as we rest on a boulder. Different how? Relaxed. Like you're not running toward the next deadline. She's right. The constant urgency that drives my daily life has quieted to a whisper. Here, with red rocks rising around us and Brooke's hand in mine, time moves differently. Tell me about before, I say, before social work. College psychology major, wanted to be a therapist. Then I volunteered at a youth center during graduate school and realized I preferred action to analysis. Your parents supported that choice? Her expression clouds slightly. They died in a car accident my senior year of college. I was supposed to follow the plan they'd mapped out. Doctorate, private practice, suburban house with a white picket fence. I'm sorry. It's okay. Their death taught me life's too short to live someone else's dream. She squeezes my hand. What about you? Always wanted to plan parties? Started in corporate marketing, hated the politics. Discovered I had a talent for organizing events, went freelance 5 years ago. Scared my very traditional Midwest family. Scared them how? Single woman starting her own business instead of finding a husband and settling down. I pause. They have no idea I'm gay. Brooke stops walking. They don't know? I've never brought anyone home worth introducing. And now? The question hangs between us, weighted with implications neither of us is ready to examine fully. That evening, we find a restaurant with outdoor seating overlooking the red rocks. The server brings wine and pasta while the sun begins its descent toward the horizon. Look, Brooke whispers. The rocks glow like they're lit from within, deep crimson fading to soft pink as shadows lengthen. Other diners fall quiet, everyone instinctively recognizing they're witnessing something sacred. No wonder you love it here, I say. I don't come here often enough. Work keeps me tied to Chandler. When's the last time you took a real vacation? She thinks. 3 years? Maybe 4? Brooke. I know. But those kids depend on the center staying open. If I'm not there, the center will survive a weekend without you. Will it? I cover her hand with mine. Yes, and so will you. The walk back to the bed and breakfast takes us through quiet streets, lined with art galleries and shops already closed for the evening. Brooke stops in front of a sculpture garden, running her fingers along smooth metal curves. I used to sculpt, she says quietly. Used to? In college? Nothing serious, just a hobby. Why did you stop? Time, priorities, the usual excuses. Show me. What? When we get back. Show me something you made. She smiles, but it's tinged with sadness. I don't think I kept anything. At the bed and breakfast, we linger outside our separate room doors. Thank you, she says, for today, for making me remember there's more to life than work. Thank you for showing me Sedona. The night's not over yet. She steps closer, and I catch the scent of her perfume mixed with desert air. When she kisses me, it tastes like wine and possibility. Your room or mine? She whispers against my lips. Yours has the better view. Her room overlooks the desert, where stars already pierce the darkening sky. She opens the window, letting in cool air that carries the scent of sage and juniper. We undress slowly, taking time to explore each other without the urgency of her cramped office. Her skin is soft in the moonlight streaming through sheer curtains. When she touches me, it's with reverence that makes my breath catch. We move together on the handmade quilt, discovering rhythms that feel both new and ancient. Her whispered words of encouragement, the way she responds to my touch, the gentle pressure of her body. Against mine, everything builds toward a crescendo that leaves us both breathless and intertwined. Later, as she traces lazy patterns on my shoulder, I realize I've never felt this complete with another person. Alexa? I think I'm falling for you. I turn to face her in the dim light. Think? Fine. I know I'm falling for you. Good, I whisper, kissing her forehead. Because I'm already there. Outside, coyotes sing to the desert moon, but inside this small room, everything we need exists in the space between heartbeats. The gala exceeds every expectation I had. 3 months after our Sedona weekend, Brooke and I stand in the transformed community center watching Chandler's elite mingle with the very kids they're here to support. Look at this, Brooke whispers, squeezing my hand as we watch Marcus demonstrate computer coding to a tech executive. 6 months ago, he was sleeping in abandoned buildings. The numbers are staggering. We've raised nearly $300,000, enough to fund the center's expansion for 2 full years. Local media crews document everything, and my phone buzzes constantly with inquiries from potential new clients. Murphy and Clark events, I say during a quiet moment, testing how our names sound together professionally. Has a nice ring, Brooke agrees, though something flickers across her expression. The success opens doors neither of us anticipated. Within weeks, we have requests from 3 other nonprofits and 2 corporations looking for community outreach partnerships. What started as one charity event becomes a full-scale business venture. We need an office, I suggest over dinner, at what's become our regular restaurant. Somewhere between the center and downtown. Professional space for client meetings. Office space costs money. We're bringing in money now. Real money. Brooke pushes food around her plate. I've been thinking about that. About what? The money. What we're charging these corporate clients. Our latest contract involves organizing a luxury retreat for pharmaceutical executives. The budget exceeds what the community center operates on for 6 months. We're providing a service, I say carefully. Professional event planning commands professional rates. But are we still serving the right people? What do you mean? She sets down her fork. When I started this work, it was about helping kids who had nowhere else to turn. Now we're spending more time coordinating wine tastings for executives than fundraising for nonprofits. We can do both. Can we? When's the last time you visited the center? The question stings because she's right. My days now fill with venue scouting, vendor meetings, and client calls. The kids who inspired our partnership have become background noise to business success. I'm building something here, Brooke. Building us something. Are you building us, or building your escape from Chandler? The accusation hangs between us like a third person at our table. Other diners laugh and chat around us, oblivious to the fault line cracking open in our perfect partnership. That's not fair, isn't it? You've already started talking about expanding to Phoenix, maybe Los Angeles. What happens to the community center when Murphy and Clark events becomes too successful for small-time charity work? We honor our commitments. Do we? Because I haven't seen you honor your commitment to understanding why this work matters. My phone buzzes with another client inquiry. I decline the call, but Brooke notices. Answer it, she says quietly. Clearly, it's more important than this conversation. Nothing is more important than this conversation. Then prove it. Turn off the phone. I hesitate. The call could be the Los Angeles opportunity I've been pursuing. But Brooke's eyes hold a challenge I can't ignore. I power down the phone and set it aside. Thank you, she says, but her tone remains distant. What do you want from me, Brooke? I want the woman who came to the center because she believed in what we do, not someone who sees dollar signs where I see kids who need advocates. I can be both. Can you? We finish dinner in stilted conversation, both avoiding the elephant now residing permanently at our table. At home, my apartment has become our de facto shared space. The tension follows us. Maybe we should separate business from personal, Brooke suggests as we get ready for bed. Meaning what? You handle the corporate clients. I focus on the nonprofit work. Keep the finances separate. We're partners. Are we? Or are you the CEO and I'm just the social conscience you drag out when you need to feel better about taking corporate money? The accusation hits hard because there's truth in it. Lately, I have been treating her more like an employee than an equal partner, making decisions without consulting her, accepting clients whose values don't align with our original mission. I never meant to make you feel that way. But you did. She settles into bed facing away from me. For the first time since Sedona, we fall asleep without touching. The next morning brings news that changes everything. The pharmaceutical client wants to expand our contract, offering enough money to make Murphy and Clark events a major player in the corporate event industry. This is it, I tell Brooke over coffee. This is our chance to go big. Our chance? Or your chance? What's that supposed to mean? It means I've seen their safety reports. Their drug killed 12 people before the FDA pulled it from market. And now we're celebrating their comeback product launch? That's not our business. It is if we're taking their money. The argument escalates quickly. Voices raised, accusations flying, everything we've built together crumbling over the question of what success should look like. Maybe we want different things, Brooke says finally. Maybe we do. She gathers her things. Clothes, toiletries, the small personal items that had gradually migrated to my apartment. Watching her pack feels like watching someone dismantle our life together piece by piece. Where will you go? Back to my place. Back to work that matters. This work matters too. She pauses at the door, overnight bag in hand. Does it, Alexa? Or does it just pay well? After she leaves, I sit alone in my apartment surrounded by the evidence of our partnership. Event portfolios, client contracts, and photos from the successful gala when everything still felt possible. My phone buzzes with the pharmaceutical company's revised offer. More money than I've ever seen. Financial security for life. Everything I thought I wanted. But without Brooke, success feels hollow as an empty auditorium. 2 weeks of sleeping alone reminds me how quiet my apartment sounds without Brooke's laughter filling the spaces between my obsessive work calls. I throw myself into the pharmaceutical contract, telling myself that success will prove her wrong about my motivations. The irony isn't lost on me. I'm planning their product launch celebration while avoiding news reports about the families affected by their previous drug recall. Every vendor meeting, every menu selection, every floral arrangement feels like building a monument to my own moral compromise. You look tired, my assistant observes during a venue walkthrough. I'm fine. When's the last time you saw Brooke? We're taking a break, focusing on different client bases. The lie tastes bitter. The truth is, Brooke won't return my calls, and her absence from planning meetings leaves me handling twice the workload with half the passion. I drive past the community center daily, hoping to catch a glimpse of her. The building looks the same, but I notice new computers through the windows and fresh paint on the exterior walls. Our successful gala-funded improvements that will benefit kids for years to come. So why does everything feel like failure? Marcus spots me during one of these drive-bys and waves from the basketball court. I park and walk over, needing human connection that isn't transactional. Hey, Miss Alexa. Haven't seen you around lately. Been busy with work. Miss Brooks said you guys were focusing on different projects now. The diplomatic phrasing sounds like Brooke, protecting my reputation even when I've wounded ours. How are things here? Good, really good. Got accepted to community college for next semester, thanks to the scholarship fund you two set up. Pride and pain twist together in my chest. Our partnership created something meaningful, and now I'm actively destroying it for corporate contracts. That's wonderful, Marcus. Miss Brooke helped me with the application. She's good at seeing potential in people, you know? Yeah, I know. That evening, I call my sister in Chicago. Something I haven't done in months. Alexa? Everything okay? It's not Christmas or anyone's birthday. Can't I call just to talk? You can, but you never do. What's wrong? I find myself spilling everything. The business success, the moral compromises, the woman I'm pretty sure I've fallen in love with who won't speak to me because I've chosen money over meaning. Sounds like you know what you need to do, Katie says after I finish. Do I? You called me because you need permission to walk away from the money. So here it is. Walk away. It's not that simple. It never is. But you sound miserable, and last time I checked, money can't fix miserable. What if she won't forgive me? What if she will? The next morning brings a crisis that forces my hand. The pharmaceutical company's latest safety report surfaces online, revealing they knew about potential cardiac side effects before launching their comeback drug. Social media explodes with #BloodMoney hashtags, and 3 event vendors cancel their contracts within hours. My phone rings constantly. Reporters wanting comments, vendors seeking reassurance, clients questioning our association with the pharmaceutical company. Each call reinforces what Brooke tried to tell me. Some money isn't worth taking. I draft the email 3 times before hitting send. After careful consideration, Murphy and Clark Events must withdraw from your project effective immediately. We cannot in good conscience promote products that may compromise public safety. The reply comes within minutes, threatening legal action for breach of contract. I forward it to my lawyer and feel lighter than I have in weeks. Now for the harder conversation. I find Brooke in her office at the community center, reviewing scholarship applications. She looks up when I knock, and her expression shifts from surprise to guarded politeness. Alexa, what are you doing here? I terminated the pharmaceutical contract. You what? Walked away, sent the money back, probably getting sued. She sets down her paperwork. Why? Because you were right. Because some things matter more than financial success. Because I'd rather be broke and sleep at night than rich and complicit in harming people. That must have been difficult. Easier than losing you. The words hang between us, honest and vulnerable. Brooke's expression softens slightly. One decision doesn't fix everything wrong with how we've been operating. No, but it's a start. I want to rebuild this partnership the right way. Your way. My way means saying no to lucrative contracts that conflict with our values. I understand. It means prioritizing nonprofit work even when corporate clients pay better. I understand. It means being equal partners, not boss and employee. I understand that too. She studies my face, looking for cracks in my resolve. What about your expansion plans? Los Angeles? The big dreams? What good are big dreams if they're built on compromised values? And if another pharmaceutical company offers us money? We say no. What about weapons manufacturers, tobacco companies, oil giants with environmental violations? We say no to all of it. For the first time in weeks, she almost smiles. That's a lot of no's, Alexa. Sure you can handle building a business on principles instead of profit? I'd rather build something meaningful with you than something profitable without you. She's quiet for a long moment, considering. Outside her office, kids' voices echo through the community center, the sound that started everything between us. There's something you should know, she says finally. What? I missed you. Missed working with you, missed talking through ideas, missed having someone who understood the vision. I missed you too. More than I thought possible. This isn't just about business anymore, is it? It never was just about business. She stands and walks around her desk, stopping close enough that I can smell her familiar perfume. If we do this, rebuild the partnership, rebuild us, it has to be different. How different? Honest. All the time. About business decisions. About what we want. About what we're feeling. I want you, Brooke. I want the work we do together, and I want you in my life, and I want to build something that makes us both proud. Even if it means smaller profits? Especially then. She reaches for my hands, and the contact sends relief flooding through me. Okay, she says. Let's try again. Rebuilding trust proves harder than rebuilding business. 3 months after our reconciliation, Brooke and I operate like polite business partners rather than lovers. We share client meetings but not breakfast conversations. We collaborate on event planning but sleep in separate apartments. The tension comes to a head when the Sterling Foundation offers us their biggest contract yet, a nationwide summit on youth advocacy. The money would secure our business for 2 years, but there's a catch. They want to focus on urban success stories, Brooke explains after our initial client meeting. Kids who overcame adversity through personal responsibility, not systemic change. What's wrong with success stories? Nothing, unless you're using them to justify cutting social programs. Look at their board of directors. Half are politicians who vote against education funding. I review the contract terms. The money is substantial, the visibility incredible. But Brooke's research reveals the foundation's true agenda, promoting individual achievement while ignoring structural inequality. We could influence the messaging, I suggest. Steer them toward more balanced coverage. Or we could find clients who share our actual values, instead of trying to reform ones who don't. The old me would have argued for taking their money and fighting from the inside. The new me recognizes the futility of that approach. You're right, I say, and watch surprise flicker across her face. We turn them down. Just like that? Just like that. But our financial reality intrudes before I can feel good about the moral victory. 2 smaller nonprofit contracts fall through when their grants get denied. Our business account balance drops to uncomfortably low levels. Maybe we should reconsider the Sterling Foundation, I mentioned during a tense budget meeting. No. Brooke, we have rent to pay. Staff salaries, vendor contracts. We have principals too. Principals don't pay bills. The argument escalates quickly, all our careful politeness cracking under financial pressure. Her accusations about my priorities, my frustration with her inflexibility, everything we've avoided discussing for months explodes in our small shared office. You haven't changed at all, she finally says. When things get difficult, you still choose money over meaning. That's not fair, isn't it? The minute our account got low, you wanted to compromise everything we rebuilt. I wanted to keep us solvent. At what cost? The question hangs between us, weighted with implications neither wants to examine. Outside, Chandler's afternoon heat shimmers off asphalt while inside our office, everything feels cold and distant. Maybe this isn't working, I say quietly. The business, Or us. Either. Both. Brooke gathers her things with practiced efficiency, like she's been preparing for this moment. I'll find temporary office space. We can divide the remaining contracts. Brooke. What? I don't want to divide anything. I want to figure this out together. Do you? Because it feels like you want me to be someone I'm not. Less principled, more flexible about taking questionable money. I want you to trust that I've learned from my mistakes. Have you? The honest answer is complicated. I have learned, but old habits resurface under pressure. Financial insecurity triggers every survival instinct I developed building my business alone. I'm trying to. Trying isn't enough anymore. She leaves, and I sit alone among the evidence of our second failed partnership. Event portfolios we created together, client contracts bearing both our names, photos, from successful fundraisers when collaboration felt natural instead of forced. My phone buzzes with the Sterling Foundation's revised offer. Even more money, fewer restrictions on messaging, everything I thought I wanted, available with one signature. Instead, I call our accountant. How long can we operate with current cash flow? 6 weeks, maybe 8, if you postpone some vendor payments. What about if we scale back? Smaller office, reduced staff. That might buy you another month. And if we focus exclusively on nonprofit work? Alexa, your nonprofit margins are razor thin. You'd need 3 times the volume to maintain current operations. After hanging up, I walk to the community center where this all began. Marcus waves from the basketball court, now a college freshman but still shooting hoops after classes. The expansion we funded bustles with activity, computer labs full of kids learning, coding, art rooms where teenagers create murals expressing their hopes and dreams. This is what brought Brooke and me together. Not the profits or professional success, but the possibility of creating something meaningful for kids who needed advocates. I find her in the director's office, reviewing grant applications with practiced concentration. She looks up when I knock but doesn't invite me in. I've been thinking about what you said. I begin. Which part? All of it. About principles and trust and whether I've really changed. And? I turned down the Sterling Foundation, permanently. Sent them a detailed explanation of why their approach undermines the very communities they claim to serve. Her expression shifts slightly. You did? I also contacted every nonprofit we've worked with in the past year, asked if they knew others who might need event planning services on smaller budgets. Alexa, I want to rebuild this the right way, your way, even if it means being broke while we prove that principled businesses can survive. What about the office rent? Your car payment, all the financial obligations you're so worried about? I'll move into a studio apartment, sell the car and buy something used. Whatever it takes to prove that I choose this work, choose you, over financial security. She sets down her pen and studies my face, looking for cracks in my resolve. That's a big risk. Everything worthwhile is risky. What if we fail anyway? Then we fail doing work that matters. For the first time in months, she almost smiles. You sound like me now. Is that good or bad? Depends on whether you mean it. I step closer, drawn by hope flickering in her expression. I mean it, Brooke. I choose meaning over money. I choose principles over profits. I choose you. The last words hang between us, honest and vulnerable. She stands, closing some of the distance between us. This isn't just about business decisions anymore. No, it's about trust. About whether you believe I can be the partner you deserve. She's quiet for a long moment, considering. Then she moves closer, close enough that I catch her familiar scent. I want to believe it, she whispers, but I'm scared of being disappointed again. So am I. What do we do with that fear? Maybe we figure it out together. She reaches for my hands, and the contact sends relief flooding through me. The fear proves harder to overcome than either of us anticipated. For weeks, we work together during the day like professional partners, then retreat to separate apartments like polite strangers. The trust we're trying to rebuild feels fragile as spun glass. Our breakthrough comes during the worst possible moment. The Ramirez wedding, our first major contract since reconciling, descends into chaos when the venue double books and the caterer shows up with food for a different event entirely. The backup venue won't take our deposit, I tell Brooke as we stand in the empty banquet hall that was supposed to host 150 guests in 4 hours. And the florist says the arrangements won't work at a different location, she adds, scrolling through increasingly desperate text messages. We're ruined. Professionally, financially, completely ruined. Instead of panic, something shifts in Brooke's expression. Remember our first successful event together? The community center gala? No, before that. Remember what you told me about creating memories that last longer than the party? Brooke, this isn't the time for philosophy. It's exactly the time. What matters most to the Ramirez family? I think about our initial consultation, Maria Ramirez wanting to celebrate her daughter's wedding with their extended community. Her father insisting the most important thing was bringing people together, not impressing anyone. Family, community, celebrating together. So let's give them that. What happens next feels like controlled improvisation. We call every contact we have, leveraging relationships built over months of ethical business practices. The community center offers their main hall. Local restaurants donate food in exchange for future event planning services. High school students studying hospitality volunteer as servers. Marcus shows up with his coding classmates to handle music and lighting. Mrs. Patterson from the bakery stays late to create a beautiful cake, using ingredients we scrounged from 3 different suppliers. This is insane, I mutter as we transform the community center with donated flowers and borrowed decorations. This is what we do, Brooke replies, her hands steady as she arranges centerpieces. We solve problems, together. The Ramirez wedding becomes legendary in Chandler's event planning circles. Not for luxury or perfection, but for heart. The bride dances with kids from the center's after-school program. The elderly guests share stories with teenagers who helped serve dinner. Even the photos, taken by a community college photography student, capture genuine joy instead of posed elegance. You did something incredible tonight, Maria Ramirez tells us during cleanup. This felt like a real celebration, not just a expensive party. After the guests leave, Brooke and I collapse in the empty community center, surrounded by the evidence of crisis turned triumph. We actually pulled that off, I say, still hardly believing it. We did. I couldn't have managed it alone. Neither could I. The admission hangs between us, honest and vulnerable. For the first time in months, we're not just business partners or careful friends, we're the team we used to be. Alexa? Yeah? I've been thinking about what you said, about choosing meaning over money. And? Tonight proved you meant it. When everything went wrong, you didn't abandon our principles for an easier solution. You figured out how to serve our clients while staying true to our values. Relief floods through me. Does that mean you trust me again? It means I want to try. The space between us feels electric with possibility. She moves closer on the makeshift seating we created from folding chairs, close enough that I can see flecks of gold in her blue eyes. I missed this, she whispers. Working together, figuring things out together, being together. I missed you. All of you. The way you challenge me to be better, the way you believe in impossible things, the way you make me feel like I'm part of something important. You are part of something important. We built this together. When she kisses me, it tastes like redemption and possibility. Her hands find my face, fingers tracing lines of exhaustion and stress from our crisis-filled day. I love you. I whisper against her lips. I love you too. Even when you drive me crazy with your spreadsheets and backup plans. Even when you make me choose principles over profits. Especially then. We move together in the quiet community center, surrounded by the evidence of our shared success. Her touch is familiar but feels new, like we're discovering each other again after months of careful distance. In the makeshift office we created for event coordination, we finally let down all the barriers we've maintained. Her whispered words of want, the way she responds to my touch, the gentle urgency of reconnecting after so much time apart. We move together with reverence for what we almost lost and gratitude for what we found again. Later, lying together on the borrowed cushions we used for lounge seating. She traces patterns on my shoulder that feel like promises. So what happens now? She asks. Now we go home, together, to your place or mine or somewhere new that's ours. I meant with the business. We proved tonight that our approach can work, but one successful crisis recovery doesn't guarantee long-term stability. We keep doing what we did tonight. We serve our clients authentically. We handle problems creatively. We trust each other completely. Even when it's scary? Especially when it's scary. She props herself up on one elbow, studying my face in the dim light filtering through the community center's windows. I have something to tell you. What? While we were separated, I got an offer from a nonprofit in Seattle. Director of Community Outreach, great salary, comprehensive benefits. My heart clenches. Are you taking it? I was considering it. Before tonight. And now? Now I think we have something worth fighting for here. The business, the community we're building, us. Are you sure? I'm sure I want to find out what we can accomplish together when we trust each other completely. Outside, dawn light begins to creep across the desert, painting everything in shades of possibility. Inside the community center where we first discovered our shared vision, everything feels like a beginning again. 1 year later, Murphy & Clark Events operates from a converted warehouse, space that doubles as community meeting venue and professional office. The exposed brick walls display photos from our successful events, each one telling a story of meaningful celebration rather than empty luxury. Final headcount for the Henderson anniversary? Brooke asks, reviewing our weekend checklist. 87 confirmed. Mrs. Henderson wants to add 3 more tables for her extended family. Can we accommodate that? Already called the rental company. They'll deliver additional seating this afternoon. Our rhythm feels effortless now. Professional partnership built on personal trust. Business decisions guided by shared values. The financial struggles of rebuilding taught us efficiency without compromising quality. There's something else, I say, pulling an envelope from my desk drawer. The Arizona Business Council wants to interview us for their Community Impact Award. Brooke looks up from her laptop. Seriously? Apparently our model of profitable non-profit partnerships caught their attention. They want to feature us in their annual magazine. That's incredible recognition. It's validation that principled business practices actually work. She moves around her desk to look at the nomination letter, her shoulder brushing mine as we read together. The contact still sends warmth through me, but now it feels like coming home rather than falling into something uncertain. Listen to this, she reads aloud. Murphy & Clark Events has demonstrated that businesses can achieve financial success while maintaining unwavering commitment to social responsibility. Their innovative approach to community-centered event planning has become a model for other service industries. Not bad for a couple of idealistic women who almost went broke, choosing principles over profits. Almost being the key phrase. Look at these quarterly numbers. Our financial projections spread across her desk tell a story of steady growth built on sustainable practices. We're not getting rich, but we're building something lasting. The Henderson anniversary will put us ahead of budget for the year, I note. And the scholarship gala next month should fund 3 full college programs. Plus, Marcus graduates in December. With honors in computer science, thanks to the mentorship program we connected him with. The success stories accumulate like evidence that our approach creates ripple effects beyond single events. Kids get opportunities, nonprofits get funding, communities get strengthened through celebrations that bring people together rather than showing off wealth. My phone buzzes with a text from my sister in Chicago. Saw the business magazine article about you two. Mom and Dad are finally impressed. When do we get to meet Brooke? The question makes me smile. Coming out to my traditional Midwestern family happened gradually through business. Updates that naturally included mentions of my business partner and girlfriend. Their acceptance grew alongside their pride in our professional achievements. What's funny? Brooke asks. Katie wants to know when you're visiting Chicago to meet the family. Are you ready for that? Are you? She considers this while sorting vendor contracts. I think so, as long as they understand we're a package deal, personal and professional. They understand. They also understand that you make me happy in ways I never thought possible. The admission still feels new despite months of rebuilding our relationship, this time. With complete honesty about what we want from each other and from the work we share. Speaking of happiness, she says, pulling a small box from her purse. I have something for you. It's not my birthday. It's our business anniversary. 1 year since we officially became Murphy and Clark events. Inside the box sits a simple silver pendant shaped like two interlocking circles. Elegant, understated, meaningful. It's beautiful. Read the inscription. I turn the pendant to catch the light, crossing paths, AM and BC, like our first meeting at the airport. When everything started with mixed-up luggage and ended with finding each other. Everything didn't end. Everything began. She fastens the necklace around my neck, her fingers gentle against my skin. True. This is just one beginning of many. What do you mean? Instead of answering, she moves to our shared calendar on the wall, pointing to a date circled in red ink 3 months from now. I made a reservation. For what? Sedona. That same bed and breakfast where we first talked about building something together. Are we celebrating something specific? I'm hoping we will be. The implication makes my heart race. Brooke. We've rebuilt our business partnership successfully. We've rebuilt our personal relationship on stronger foundations. Maybe it's time to make some new promises about our future together. Are you asking what I think you're asking? I'm asking if you want to spend the rest of your life creating meaningful celebrations with someone who loves you completely. The desert sunset streams through our office windows, painting everything in shades of gold and possibility. This is where we belong. Building something beautiful together in a place that taught us both to value substance over surface. Yes, I whisper, pulling her closer. To all of it. The business, the future, the rest of our lives together. When she kisses me, it tastes like promises we'll spend decades keeping. Outside, Chandler continues its daily rhythm, but inside our converted warehouse office, everything feels perfectly aligned. So, she says against my lips, ready for the Henderson anniversary tomorrow? Ready for whatever comes next. Through the windows, the community center's lights glow in the distance, where kids are probably finishing homework assignments and dreaming about futures they never thought possible. Just like we did, standing in airport baggage claim with the wrong suitcases and no idea we were about to find exactly what we didn't know we were looking for. Some of the best things in life begin with beautiful mistakes.